manifesto and not diverting from that? Like, what will set you apart from not diverting from the People's Manifesto?
We are already set apart, Spokie. We consulted the people before we launched Rise Mzansi. So Rise Mzansi is the product of the people of South Africa. Secondly, we consulted the people before we came up with a manifesto. Thirdly, we asked South Africans to participate in a candidate list for the people who need to be nominated. So the whole South Africans, they partook in that process. 400 names from the country were put forward. And on top of that, there is an independent committee that's dealing with those nominations. So those are the processes of accountability. Our nomination committee is known. It's out there on our website, on our Rise Mzansi page. So the candidates will be known soon. So what's going to happen is, as soon as people put their X marks the spot of Rise Mzansi on the ballot paper, and for instance, we get to know that, okay, the people of the Eastern Cape, they have cast 1 million votes for Rise Mzansi. Now, what's going to happen is that, okay, this gives us 100 seats, or 20 seats, okay, in the provincial legislature. We will do what we did before those people gave us their votes. Come back and say, people of the Eastern Cape, people of Mzansi, we are where you said we must be. And we have given you the leadership. You have given you the opportunity to nominate candidates. Now is that time to find experts to go and be your voice where your voice needs to be. Hold us accountable. That is the middle name of Rise Mzansi. If it's not participation, public participation, it's public accountability. We do not intend to turn from that. It's our core values. Where there is no accountability, there is no Rise Mzansi from any level of governance with Rise Mzansi.
I was thinking, Spokie, there's something also for me that I kind of find impressive about what you guys have been able to do, and I don't know whether you guys see it. You said you registered on the 22nd of April.
19, yes, we launched on the 19th of
April,
yes.
2023. And now January 2024, on the 20th, you are already delivering a manifesto. And I think that's just something to be said in terms of maybe even people looking into what you guys are putting on the table, the seriousness of being able to package all of these in such a very short space of time. And perhaps maybe that's what people are looking for. People who are going to meet their timelines, and people who are going to deliver. And was that, you guys, was that intentional in terms of making sure that everything that you guys do, you actually looking at your reputation as far as time is concerned and deliver it to the people, as it were?
Rise Mzansi politics, Lester, has attracted good quality professionals. People who are used to service delivery. People who have been running their own companies. People who have been working diligently, reporting to bosses, to CEOs, and people who have been CEOs of themselves. Now, if you have been CEO of your own company and your own self, you know that when you sit on your laurels, when you sleep, you are not going to eat. Nobody is, you don't have in contact, you don't have PESAL. So that's the kind of leadership that Rise Mzansi. Akulalwa ku Rise Mzansi. Submission, deadlines are deadlines. You've got to account, that's accountability. We are held to account on an hourly basis on a weekly basis, on a daily basis. You've got to deliver. The only time you are excused from not delivering, and this is not slave driving, no, this is people want to see their dream and vision coming to pass. The only time you are allowed is maybe when really you cannot. You're either sick, bereaved, and all that. You know, you still have you have to live up to this thing. It's on voluntary basis. We are volunteers, and those who understand what being a volunteer is, they know that a volunteer is a self-starter, is self-driven, and a volunteer knows that I cannot fail my own values that I have set. We've set the values as Rise Mzansi. We can't fail our own values. We can't. So what you've picked up with us, it's who we are. It's who we are. It's in our DNA. You know, just to pass on this one, with Rise Mzansi, you can send an inquiry in our teams at 2 a.m. By 2:05 a.m., you have a response. Whether you're talking to the policy team, there's a team, policy, public participation, and it doesn't matter whether it's comms. You'll have a response. If you don't have a response in the next 10 minutes, you'll have it by 2:30 a.m. I promise you. That's how we work. As a result, some of us, we get frustrated when you send a message at 6 a.m. and you get a response at 9 a.m. Like for 3 hours, guys. So yeah,
efficiency.
Our culture. I'm sorry. Sometimes we may sound like slave drivers.
Yeah.
It's in our blood to be accountable and to deliver.
I guess, I mean, the ethics is one of the things, ethical leadership and also the accountability that you're speaking to is one of the things that all South Africans are kind of looking forward to, in terms of actually not just being preached, but in action, as it were. So, Sis Push, I mean, you have what is coming now on the 20th.
Yes.
And just a brief layout for us, I know you've spoken to the sort of themes that you guys are working on. Just again, briefly on those themes for us before, so that people can know what to expect, and in terms of the manifesto, and also again, a brief layout of what is going to be happening for everyone as we are about to close here. Bayangena ke ukhona uVuyokazi Ncebesha, ukhona nomnye bengenile, Pretty Face is Amajola. I don't know if you know these guys.
I know Vuyo.
Umavundle, Wamampevu, Masedi Junior Mafiliga. Thank God you have Sis Pumla on the studio. I have asked a lot of questions on her platform, but she decided to block me without responding. Is she a politician on this space or facilitating for others? I will ask more. Mased Law is putting that out. Iyagalela Ntlanekazi kwaye uyavakala. So utsho yena uMavundle as speaking to what you're saying. So yes, just a brief, because the themes, I think for me, as you read out the themes, I don't know, the feeling that I had is the woman fuzz part, which speaks to some of the family aspect of it, which is something that you don't hear on the political space. So yeah, please lay out those themes for us.
Okay. Now we said we have 5 themes.
Yes.
So you're speaking to the individual and family well-being. Yes. Community well-being. Okay, let me just mention the 3 before I go back to the one you asked about. We said managing immigration.
Yes, can you elaborate?
Okay, let me finish and say foreign policy and climate and climate crisis.
Okay.
There's a huge cry out there of illegal immigrants. Now, we, the lay people, the public, we just look at people around us, and we know, or we get to know who a South African is and who is not a South African. One thing is certain. There are borders in this country.
Mm.
And those borders have border security. So whoever is in this country illegally, a system in this country has failed this country. So, and that system, it's the management system that has failed. That's why you find us saying managing immigration. Because it means we have a system that is failing to manage the immigration system in South Africa. And as Rise Mzansi, we are so not going to pick up the tail of the problem. As a collective, together with our colleagues, when we are in governance and in government, we are going to lead this debate. We are going to lead these discussions as to, guys, how do we redress this situation of overcrowding in our country? Because somebody somewhere, by somebody I mean a department that is responsible for border security, for security in South Africa, has allowed the systems to weaken. So as a collective, as a country, we need to find where the problem is and address that problems. We're doing away this thing of pinpointing this one and just problem and isolate things when things are connected and interconnected. So that's what I wanted to say on managing immigration.
Yeah.
So just as a side to my fellow brother, Ulisedi, you know, I have a life as a preacher and a life as a leader, and I happen to be a leader in the political space. Now, you know, this sacred cows, you know, I would say religion. I'm not an emotional leader, but there are things I try to protect my person. That is ubumna against. So when the leader Tindai blogger, you know, became personal to a point of touching my spiritual life and my spiritual leaders, I knew that we need a conversation, not to mix it with politics or Rise Mzansi, you see. So that's why I decided to say, okay, like Robert Frost would say, good fences make good neighbors. So I said, okay, this one, let me put a fence so that we remain good neighbors. Otherwise, he has my number on WhatsApp. He's not blocked there. So you can check me there. So in closing, about families, one of the things our national leader is passionate about is the basic needs of Abantu. It can never be a struggle for South Africans to put 3 plates of food per day for family. Yet that is a struggle. Shelter, water. I won't touch employment and all other things, because with the taxation system that we have, with the exorbitant taxes that South African citizens are paying, we can manage what we call as Rise Mzansi to be social democrats. Because you take from those who are contributing much or the most and cater for those who have nothing. That's what the taxes of taxpayers are for. But currently, the priorities are such that those who are hungry must continue to get hungry. And those who have must try and use what they have to continue to have. We have these inequalities and disparities in basic necessities of life, in food. How can children not go to school because they are hungry? The out rate that we have in education, it's because of other issues other than the standard of education. So when we say individual, family, community well-being, we mean basic things like that. If we have a government whose priority is to service debt, that means we have a government who doesn't have a priority to place food on the table. And one thing I want to tell South Africans is that whoever governs this country will always have access to the taxpayers' money and govern the country according to the well-being and the needs of the citizens. It is not dependent on what should I say? It is not the prerogative of a ruling party or a political party whether to increase or decrease this, to take this away. No, and that's not even electioneering and elections and public participation in elections is not subject to that. Basics are basics. Government, governance, leadership is about giving good governance to the citizens because the government is run by the citizens' money. So, fanele nje si understand leyo into ubana voting for a government, it's us telling ourselves that we want this kind of a government. So voting for Rise Mzansi after hearing the People's Manifesto law, what's in it on the 20th, it will inform the people of South Africa as to, okay, this is what these guys are about. So I encourage the people on the day to tune in, YouTube, Facebook, follow us. You will get to hear what you've been asking about Rise Mzansi. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Suspush, so much. I think the last of what I would like for you to do for us is just to briefly or quickly tell people Amatlesha and for them to actually watch there's a lot of questions that have come through, but since we've run out of time, and sorry to you guys who are watching and listening that we've really run out of time. So I'd like just Wakona Itlesha, I know it's 10
a.m. to 1 p.m. Heartfelt Arena in Pretoria.
Everyone is invited, or
we have catered for 4,000 people.
4,000 people.
In our last meeting, which is I think it's yesterday, the numbers were at 3,700 RSVPs. So one had better check our Rise Mzansi page and check where it's talking about the People's Manifesto launch. Follow the link to RSVP and see if otherwise, in other provinces, live stream.
And the link will be on the
website.
website.
On our YouTube. Just subscribe to our Rise Mzansi YouTube. Follow Rise Mzansi page on Facebook, Instagram, X. That is your former Twitter.
Yes. And Masedi, we still have Mzansi coming here again next week on the 21st. So I think a lot of your questions will be able to put through next week. So all of you guys who are watching now on Facebook and on YouTube, please tune in again next week. Same time, we'll have Suspush here and we will go. Now the launch would have been happened. The manifesto would have been launched and this will be post the manifesto launch. So, and you will be able to read through the manifesto launch and come up with the questions that you would have based on what the manifesto says. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. Suspush, always thank you for coming. And we will see you again next week. Spokie and I will be here.
4 till 4:30.
4 till 4:30. Thank you so much.
And
thank
all the
you
best.
So much. Thank you, guys.
All the best.
Thank
See you
you.
next week. So yeah, guys, we are going to play some music now. So don't go away. But we've got some, one